Anything that you can imagine that modern civilization needs to function, it needed gears to make it go. Making your clothes, making your cars, making cement. And you'd be hard-pressed to find one person on this planet that somehow we didn't have a connection to because of our gears. When you start getting your head around that modern civilization would literally not exist without the use of gears, you go, wow, what we do really does matter. And I communicate that to our shop constantly, that we have a responsibility to do good work because the work itself is incredibly valuable. And our civilizations will crumble without us doing good work.
We stock lots and lots of different kinds of material because so much of what we do is custom work. Sometimes it's needed really, really fast. So you got to have the material on hand. There are parts that are going into canning equipment, bottling equipment, paper making equipment, cardboard box making equipment, mining equipment. We've done some stuff for the Navy. It just blows your mind how many gears are needed for civilization to function. I mean, even though this company's 60 years old, I'm amazed that these guys are coming up with new ideas every day.
I'm Dave Haytag, second generation owner of Edgerton Gear. We're in Edgerton, Wisconsin. My folks started the business in 1962. I grew up through the business, started working here when I was age 5. None of the machines had computers on them. So you were cranking handles and chips were flying in your face. You're getting filthy. The culture back through the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even in the 80s was a very dirty, dark place. You get absolutely filthy. The rate of alcoholism in machining, in tool and die, was off the chart. It was disproportionate almost to any other profession out there. Henry Ford needed workers and needed people to be like robots, and it was so dehumanizing. You killed that creative spirit. Men were walking off the job left and right because this is horrible, this is so boring, this is not human, right? We have to recognize that these people aren't machines, they're people. It just totally makes sense because now I got 40 people that are giving their best efforts, that are making incredible decisions, that young guys who are here saying, hey, what about this idea? What about this idea? And you unleash this creativity in them, and now everybody's hitting on all cylinders. I'm not smart enough to make decisions for 40 people. I need 40 people making good decisions for us to thrive as a company.
These actually start off as that. Okay, so that's the raw forging. This is the finished gear. So these machines all are the lathes that take that raw stock and actually just turn it.
I've worked here for 6 years now, and I've went through most of the shop. Right now they're kind of testing me to see what all I can do, so I have 6 machines to myself that this is what I run, all day. I'll have 30 hours worth of work in one day because I got so many machines.
He was one of these guys, even though you're a D student, right? Even as a D student, he was concerned, I need to have this precise, I need to have it right. And you could see that in him as a kid.
I was not a good student in school. I didn't do homework at all. Now, I keep on learning every single day, because I'm in an environment where I can learn.
How far along would you say you are in your machining abilities? How much more do you think you got to learn?
Well, I got the rest of my life to learn. If you don't learn something new every day, you might as well quit.
I love that attitude. That attitude shines through with you on everything. So yeah, Andy's actually keeping all these machines running by himself right now. And I think that's that kind of drive that we're really looking for in these young guys is, do they look at it as good enough, like he's often said, or how much better can I get? And that's that part of us, that God part of us, that we want to be creative and have responsibility and have fun.
It's nice to be away from people and it's quiet, no distractions. You're just kind of stuck with your own thoughts. People can be loud, Right now, I'm a journeyman apprentice. Before I started, I had no idea what a machinist was. I didn't know what Edgerton gear did. I like to work with my hands, and I like to make things. I wasn't great at math in high school, but once I started machining, it all just kind of came together. I didn't really get algebra, the formulas and things, but then we come over here and we're doing it all the time. You just don't realize it's actually algebra, which I thought was really interesting. Like, I remember when I first started, I was like watching guys program machines and it was like, I don't know if I could ever do that. But then having somebody give you the opportunity to actually go through and try it yourself and make mistakes, it was like, wow, kind of mind-boggling. I couldn't see it, so I didn't think it was there. But 7 years later, it's still here, so.
Ben was incredibly shut down. I mean, he was one of these, to have him look you in the eye and talk the way he does now is unbelievable, right? He was so stinking shy. And so, I don't, for me personally, there's nothing better that, because I was one of those shut down kids. You know, I struggled with self-esteem in a huge way. And to have a couple of old guys come alongside you and say, you know what, you got a lot of potential. We just got to pull that out of you and help you to grow up.
So you see this cycle, this beautiful transformation coming out, where like a guy like Ben and Andy, where they started with us, very shy, shut down, D students in high school, getting the message they don't really matter, they're not important, to blossoming in these men of integrity and excellence that I'm just thrilled about. It jazzes us all up so much to see young people grow in confidence and excellence and dignity.
Mentorship means more to me, I guess, because when I was looking for teachers to learn from, they were hard to come by. And so as I was growing up from probably age 10, 12, 15, I latched on to a couple of guys that showed me, you know, about cars and different machines and stuff, and it's kind of my turn to give back. And so I kind of see myself probably teaching for as long as I can.
I guess when I was in high school, I was kind of like a piece of raw stock, just needed somebody to show me what to do and how to make me into just a valuable team member.
It's a big difference to me going from the few teachers that actually cared enough to help you versus going to an environment where everyone actually is interested in you learning. You know, everyone wants you to learn.
This gear alone had probably had, you know, a dozen set of hands on it, right? By the time it went through packaging and stamping and so on. So to me, I look at it as in a kind of a microcosm, the symphony of the marketplace. There are so many different hands and so many different people are involved in it that it's really kind of a modern day miracle that so many people are involved to get this finished product. And then you take...
It makes more sense to help engage the hearts and the minds and the hands of every person in your company. It's hard work, definitely hard work, but the payoff is incredible on so many fronts.